Great. I'm talking to you from north part of Spain, a country based in Europe. As you said, thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to try to share my experience as a humble entrepreneur, like most of you are. I'm not that young. I'm on my 50s, but I think because of that, I can give you certain background about what are the most useful skills as an entrepreneur you must have in order to be successful. Okay, this is based on my own experience as an entrepreneur, but also based on our broad view after becoming joining and dealing with a lot of entrepreneurs, young entrepreneurs like you, during the last 10 years. But before that, I also have other 25 years of professional experience that I think I can share with you with certain key messages that hopefully will help you. As I mentioned, I was born in the north part of Spain. After my college, I started to work for a pharmaceutical company, for an Italian pharmaceutical company in the north part of the country as a sales rep. So clearly, all my life, I become some kind of salesman and business development person, always selling things, selling services, selling products. And guess what? When I become an entrepreneur, I started to sell myself, my projects, my idea, my skills, my capability, because most of the time you need support, you need investors, or obviously you need your first clients that believe in you, in your idea, in your new project, in your new venture. So everything is about selling yourself, a product or a service. I want to share certain things. Let me see if the screen is working. The first thing that I suggest you can see here, this is my my professional profile in LinkedIn. I beg you to contact me if anything that I can share with you is interesting for you right now or maybe in the future, or if you need any additional support, any additional feedback, mentoring, whatever you need from me, I'd be glad to try to support, no doubt about it. Obviously, like everyone, I'm a really busy person. I will try to explain you why right now, but I don't have that much time, but always, 5, 10, 15 minutes to read an email, to give you a proper answer. There is always time to do so, right? As I was introduced, the co-founder and chief executive officer of a company based here in Spain called Bosquia. We are creating forests. We are planting trees on behalf of third parties. There are companies that are paying us in order to create forests because they have an interest to support local communities, or they want to try to help the world fighting against the climate change that we all are suffering in this war. So there are more and more companies and individuals that are putting their money in order to try to do something against the climate change. And we are the arm, we are the resource in order to do so. Currently, we are operating in both Spain and Portugal, but hopefully we are starting soon also in Africa and in America. So there will be many, many opportunities to try to connect with people like you, hopefully in the future, to do projects, to develop projects also in African countries with the third-party money, companies that are going to support these projects at African level. Not only this project, I'm also the founder or partner in a company called Dobra. This is a very different one. This is an engineer firm that are performing dimensional controls, laser scanning, digital twins. So it's an engineer firm performing these technological services also for companies that are related with the nuclear plants, Martinez, or the offshore projects that are becoming more and more frequent worldwide in order to create clean energy, or the oil and gas factories that need to be renewed. And there are certain engineer works on these facilities, and they need our help in order to do so. When it comes to the biotech experience, and I will explain why most of my experience has to be with the biotech industry, with the health industry, The reason because of that is because during 25 years I've been working for this type of pharmaceutical companies. I also found 3 different companies. One is neuroscience innovative technologies, as you can see, only 4 years ago, just yesterday, let's say. Also, microbial therapeutics. This is a very interesting one related with microbiome. This is a hot topic in health. And there are 2 other companies working in the secretome, in the platelets. I mean, it's one thing related with the blood that you can generate certain type of medicine coming from the blood, and we are working in a new company trying to do so. So it's my 3rd venture as an entrepreneur, biotech. And last but not least, there is a company called Low Carb Robotics, which is basically related with rehabilitation and all this stuff. Luckily, because of all this experience that you can see in my profile, please feel free to visit if you want. I was lucky. Here you can see Platelet Biotechnologies. This is the company that I was talking about. And last but not least, Low Carb Robotics, also a company related with rehabilitation devices in order to help patients. Because of that, luckily, I was invited to become a professor, a visiting professor in the University of Oviedo, and I'm helping in the master called Biotechnology and Environment and Health. There are 2 subjects that I'm working at, that I'm teaching to young students around 22 years old, something like that, from 22 to 25. I'm trying to help them to try to understand what are the basics, the fundamentals to create a biotech company, but also, and now I'm starting to link what I'm trying to share with you, I'm also teaching one subject called professional skills. So during 3 months, I'm talking and learning with them about what their desired skills if you want to become a professional, which is exactly the same if you want to become an entrepreneur. And we'll talk a lot about the difference between hard skills that I will cover later on and soft skills. Just as a snapshot, okay? Let's be clear. I hope that all of you can understand and feel yourself what's the difference between the hard skills and the soft skills. Okay, and this is important because it applies to every type of person. It doesn't matter if it's for an entrepreneur, which is great, but also in the rest of, if you are working as a third party, for a third party, you will be scored, you will be, your performance will be evaluated according to these 2 main areas, okay? One is hard skills and the other is soft skills. The good news is that the hard skills is something mandatory in order to be able to perform a role. So when it comes to a business that you are creating, when it comes to a new venture, a project that you are creating, obviously, if you want to create something related with programming, just for the sake of the arguments, you have to have certain hard skills, meaning you have to have your grade, you are graduating programming, or you were learning by yourself or with the help of others, but you have good technical skills that are needed to perform certain venture, certain role, which is great. That gives you the ground, that gives you the chance to start something. But this is quite average. This is quite common. This is like, I don't know, in Nigeria, just for the sake of the argument, maybe there are 5,000 people per year who are programming graduated. Are they going to be successful if they create a new company, all of them? You can understand that no. Why is that? If I have the technical knowledge, why is not that enough in order to run my own business or to be selected if I want to work for a third party? Because the real key thing has to be with the soft skills. The soft skills, there is something unique in you. There are the personal constant habits, the personal constant things that you are doing on a daily basis that gives you the chance to be able to compete and to be successful as an entrepreneur. As I mentioned, there are plenty of competencies out there, plenty of skills that you have to identify. And the important thing, because new ventures, entrepreneurs are having the same things. They are fighting in the same environment like any other company. So let's give a thought about what are the skills more needed and more demanding by companies. So in general, the most desired ones, okay? Creativity, obviously. Can you agree that this is something that clearly applies to an entrepreneur? I guess so, isn't it? Persuasion, obviously, yes. You have to sell, as I mentioned, not only your product, depending if you need funding, depending if you need investment, you will need to persuade, to convince others to put the money, to trust you, to believe in you. Collaboration, obviously, everywhere, every type of organization needs to collaborate because we are in a global world and everything is interconnected, isn't it? Obviously, the pandemic was the clear example about how global we are, how global we live. So we need to collaborate among each other. If you want to be a professional or if you want to run your own business and you want to be an entrepreneur, you cannot do the things alone. This is very clear. You, especially in a startup or in a new project as an entrepreneur, you need to look for collaboration, ask for help. Don't hesitate to ask for help. Adaptability. This is a very interesting one. Believe me, the day before yesterday, I heard for first time in life, and it was absolutely right. It was a lady saying that she created a company. She was an entrepreneur in a conquest in Galicia, northern Spain. She said that it was the fourth pivotal thing in the company. So she had an idea, but she understood that the market didn't fit that well as she thought. So she made certain changes in the proposal. So it was a pivotal idea, changing from the beginning. There was another adaptation and some others. So adaptability is a must if you want to become an entrepreneur. Don't worry. You are not failing anyone. You are not failing yourself. If you decided to change something that you thought is going to be the next unicorn, and you need to do certain amendments, and finally you are able to live with your project in a different way, completely different from the beginning. It's good to change if it's needed. So adaptability is a key thing. Time management, especially as an entrepreneur. It's funny, but there are 100 things that you have to do. Obviously, when you are lucky, like I was working in companies such as Pfizer, Sanofi, Manpower, British American Tobacco, so big multinational companies. And if you want to do something, probably you will have the resources to do so. And you have 2, 3, 4, 5 colleagues, different departments doing things. If you are becoming an entrepreneur, you have to deal with the financiation, the investment, the human resources side. If you are going to create a team and you need to join people to the venture, to the company in order to do things, you have to decide strategic thinking. You have to decide what are you going to prioritize compared with other. You need to understand how to sell things, isn't it? How to negotiate things, contract, providers. Time management is key because you have to decide what is needed, what I need exactly in order to be more effective, okay? I think it's important. This is a piece of advice. I don't know how many of you are familiar with the DISC model, but I think it's important to start a business, to create a new company, to try to know yourself. Listen, I'm 52. I still don't know that much myself, okay? So it's not easy to really know yourself, to understand who you are, who you really are, what do you really like. If you want to be more an organizer, or you are more an executor, or if you are a creative person, or if you are a motivator person, or if you are a facilitator, it's important to understand, because depending how you are, it's likely that you are going to become successful or not in doing certain things. And what I'm saying that is because I don't really think, and it's important to consider that being an entrepreneur is not about, I have an idea and I'm going to do everything myself. And this is important. To be honest, I'm part of 7 different companies, as I said at the very beginning, and I have any idea of this project. It wasn't my idea. I joined this project. I felt in love with the idea of a third person. So I put my contribution with certain things, certain skills that I have and certain experience, but I don't need to have the idea. I identify promising idea and I join them to try to become a proper company and a successful company. So if I can share something with you as a tip of advice or key message, it will be, don't try to do everything yourself. If you are not creative enough, it's okay. If you have the passion to become an entrepreneur, you will identify ideas and you will join forces with people who are creative. So this model, it's available online, and there are some maybe other tests and surveys will help you to try to understand what's your real personality in order to become an entrepreneur and decide what type of roles I'm going to be trying to do during my life as an entrepreneur. So if you know perfectly who you are, you will find out there people who will be complementary with your skills in order to be more successful. So last but not least, when it comes to the specific ones that applies to entrepreneurs, there are many different studies out there. Okay, obviously they are talking about initiative. I agree. Adaptability, as I mentioned, it's important. Self-confidence, leadership qualities, oriented towards hard work, wide knowledge. You can read them. Okay, this is some of the qualities that are described as good as for entrepreneurs. Okay, and here there are some others. You can Google and you can see hundreds or thousands of different graphics or studies saying what are the real characteristics of an entrepreneur. But I will try to be very honest, and I will tell you what I suffer as an entrepreneur when I was judged by third parties. And it's important to understand that if you are asking for investment out there, what are the real things that the people who put the money on your project, so they are going to really support you, what are the investors looking for in an entrepreneur? I don't care about 10, 15, 20 different skills or characteristics. What are the real ones that the investors, the people who really has the knowledge, the taste, and they are going to put the money or not in a project? Me, as an investor, if I had to invest in your project, do you think that I'm going to see only about motivation or passion or vision? To me, the real important one, it's about resilience. There will be, like in life, there will be hundreds of times when you want to leave everything, that you are not confident anymore, you are tired, you think it's not worthy, so you decided to quit. So to me, the most important one, and I'm suffering that as an entrepreneur every month, especially because I'm involved in different projects, 7, as I mentioned. So all of them are suffering in any moment during the year. So every month I feel very tired about a project, and I need to say, okay, come on, Rafa, let's be focused, Rafael. Let's continue. We can do it. Let's continue. And this entrepreneur life, startups, entrepreneur life is like a roller coaster, isn't it? Today you are talking with a client, they are ordering, I don't know, 100 bottles of whatever new product you are launching to the market, and you think you are the conqueror, you are the king of the world, isn't it? But 2 days later, they give you back the bottles because they weren't good enough, or you are not selling anything else, and you look at the bank account and you have no money, and you say, I'm going to quit. That's why it's so important. This roller coaster, up and downs on a weekly basis. It's important to try to be calm, steady, and the resilience skill is the most important, clearly, to me. No? And the other one, if I may, it's the ability to be focused on a task. That gives you the capability to execute on time. So as an investor or as a person who receives criticism or feedback from investors, you realize that they are very obsessed of the capacity that you have to deliver. Capacity of execution. How well you deliver what you promise. So don't try to do 20 things. Try to be focused on the next milestones. Resilience and focus on execution will be the key capabilities, in my humble opinion. Obviously, if you are a motivated, passion, vision, confident one, good in leadership, etc., that will help, that will great. But to me, as a summary, in a nutshell, resilience and focus on execution. Okay? This is my humble contribution to you guys.